Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome to the show. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy, listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio. Our guest today is the Senior VP of Marketing and Outreach for Waterford. Is it Waterford? Mark Welling. He's going to tell us more. Hey, Mark, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So
yeah,
glad
it's Waterford.org.
Very good. Okay, I'm looking. Is that the name? Waterford. It is Waterford.org. Got it. Very good. Tell us about your mission. What's the problem you're trying to solve through Waterford?
Oh, no, we at Waterford.org, again, we're a nonprofit dedicated to helping in the education space. One of the three main drivers for us is definitely making sure that children enter the school system ready to learn, and really making sure on day one at school they enter their first classroom ready to learn academically. We're about universal literacy, making sure that we are focusing in on the types of software and the types of data to make sure that we are going through and enabling all learners, whether it's in the household, whether it's in the classroom, with parents, and whether it's in the classroom themselves, just making sure that they're ready to learn and ready to read, just seeing the importance of that in society and in life.
So tell us the history of the organization, because I'm wondering, was it always about the software and the technology and such? We're going to talk more about that too.
Oh, no, the technology, basically going all the way back, Waterford.org was founded by Dusty Houston, Dr. Dusty Houston, and he was basically going all the way back to a private school in New York where he was the headmaster, and he was seeing the disparity, the different level of economics need in the school.
Uh-huh.
And sorry,
it's okay.
Just had to cough there for a second.
Just get it out.
No, it's sorry, I was looking for the mute button.
Gotta wait for radio.
No, so he went back through and he was seeing these very elite level students that he was coming in and being able to give a world-class education to. And he was looking across the street in the neighborhoods and seeing all the kids that were lacking this level of education and this level of benefit. And he just felt like there was something better that he could be providing to it. And so going back to Moore's Law, he got into the early pioneering of education technology, seeing that the amount that was doubling, with the transistor, and getting back into the amount of technology that would enable learners to get that same world-class education that he was providing to his students. So he was one of the founding pioneers there. Basically, Waterford.org has been around for about 40 years in different education initiatives, really striving to help with this education inequity and provide that through. But Waterford Upstart and the partnership that they got with the city of Utah is really one of the prime changes that happened in the education space for early education, and they saw the difference and impact that could be made in the home before students arrived to school ready to learn. And so they entered into a partnership in the city of Utah in 2009 to where, up to that point, Utah was one of the states that had very little public-funded education spend getting into the state. And so they also had a real limitation where they had a lot of rural-based students, where they were multiple hours away from a pre-K center and any publicly funded education source. So they entered into a partnership with Waterford.org to come up with a method that would be able to deliver award-winning education solutions and help these kids, especially the rural-based children, to get in and get this education resource.
Yeah, very good. And I do understand about the universal literacy and wanting to also help people of all ages, but you go straight to the core of what we just had in our last segment, relating to children getting the help that they need while they're at home, and that really is your focus, so that they are ready to learn when they go to kindergarten, for example.
Correct. I mean, we really do focus on the early education with our Waterford Upstart program. That's definitely one of the main facets of our organization. And and it sounds like speaking to the choir here on the universal literacy, of the importance of making sure that, especially by the third grade, that kids are reading at that they're reading at the proper reading level, and at third grade, because it's so tough after that point to get them back to reading and get them back to grade level, and that opportunity gap just opens up so quickly. And the research just continues to pour in to show that, hey, this is the critical period in a child's developmental life, especially with literacy, to be able to provide them with those tools and with those opportunities to learn and to read. And it's such a gating item, as I'm sure you all have addressed, where if they're not walking through the door and they're not literate, if they cannot read, that's how you get to learn the STEM. That's how you get to learn the math, the science,
right?
All these different opportunities, and it all gets back to reading.
Right, laying down the foundations, vocabulary, reading, and then getting into those content areas. So you have Upstart, and then you have the Audacious Project, and Upstart, I think, is more your home program. Am I correct?
Upstart is both. Again, we have it's in the home, but it's also something that we have with school partners.
Okay.
We have over 532 district and school level partnerships that both use the Waterford Upstart program, which is typically our pre-K that we either do in a center in conjunction with the pre-K of a school as part of the academic backing, or we do it in the home. So we really, it kind of gets back to the three main groups that we feel is so essential for early literacy, and it's the parent, it's the teacher, and it's the student, it's the actual child.
Yes.
And those three roles can change depending on the setting. Where in the home, like the parent is the first educator, and they're able to have that provided and be able to provide that literacy element and that learning in the home. And a lot of times with the Waterford Upstart program, we go in with we provide computer and internet if they do not have it, at no cost to the families. And that's one of the part of the literacy, is not only the literacy for reading, but also technological literacy is one that we address and try to get to that equity issue. And then on top of that, we also provide what's called family education liaisons to the family, which is just a weekly call, typically when they're in the program, so that as the child will do an adaptive software in the home with our Waterford Upstart program, and they go through, and if they hit an issue that they struggle with, and we can see that in the system, then the weekly phone call is either to enforce or to help give activities from what they've learned. So it's we just learned about the letter A. Go to the supermarket and find all the items at the supermarket that begin with the letter A, and be able to provide those type of social emotional guiding activities for the parent. Or if there's this concept they're struggling with, giving them coaching to go and give them other ways to present the activity outside of the system that would be able to reinforce and structure and build that connection with the child and the parent in the home and provide that education system. We go out and recruit because one of the other things that with early education and in the home system that's very difficult to do is just finding the families and that will benefit the most from it. We definitely focus primarily on low income, pretty much trying to get to 185 of poverty, percent of poverty or below. Also different traditional at-risk populations, so English as a second language, migrant, immigrant, SPED populations, and rural, which again is that do not have access to other early education options.
Very good.
And so being able to go into these and do the recruitment and bring them into the program and then have the success at the end with the graduation event, which, again, the families, seeing the growth that happens and the security that happens and the confidence that the child gets from the program is phenomenal. As they walk into the classroom, again, with that confidence of, hey, I'm ready to learn ready to get to school.
Well, there are a number of things, Mark, right off the bat that got my attention, which we'll talk about in our second segment. One is of course, the focus on low-income families and children, the availability of the tablets or the computers, that liaison piece, and then the what I would call the accountability piece. But clearly, you're doing something right because you have 532 school partnerships. And I want to talk a little bit when we get into the second segment about how those partnerships come into play, given children who aren't in school yet, and then maybe how schools are able, and even other programs are able to collect progress data, or at least an activity log of what's happening in the home. And that just kind of keeps everybody on their toes and such. So we do want to talk about all of those things. There's so much that's involved here. And hopefully what you're doing is expanding. And I know there are also some costs associated with the program at the higher level. So let's talk about how people are able to meet those costs. But we've been talking to Mark Welling. He's a Senior VP of Marketing and Outreach for Waterford.org. You've been listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk. And we'll be back right after this break.
I've heard this is like one of the best pizza spots in town.
Yes, it is.
I'll do a slice of pepperoni, slice of vegetarian.
You got it.
And I will pay for all of that in 3 days.
In 3 days? What's that mean?
Well, wait, you accept credit cards. That money's not going to hit your account for 3 days anyway.
I need my money quicker.
At Chase, we hear you. With Express Funding, card payments are in your Chase account the next business day. Go to chase.com/expressfunding. Chase for business, so you can.
Compensated participation. All businesses are subject to credit approval. Not all clients are eligible for next business day funding, and additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Donate cash, furniture, clothes, and other gently used household items to Father Joe's Villages and get a nice tax break in April. Every donation is tax deductible. Believe you can make a difference. Be Father Joe. Go to neighborhood.org or call 1-800-HOMELESS to donate today.
Life is full of misadventures, from car crashes to home fires to getting choked out on the mat. Yes, I said getting choked out because I'm Carlos Kramer, jiu-jitsu competitor, MMA and media personality, and mild-mannered insurance agent. You can follow my adventures on Kick-Ass Radio, and I can protect you from life's misadventures at Kramer Insurance. Home, auto, life, business, and workers' comp. We're at KramerINS.com, and I want you to join my world.
This is Bill Gruber with BizVid Communications, a Southern California video production leader. We've been honored to sponsor, produce, write, and host many of the fine programs on WS Radio over the years. So we understand how important the internet and your website exposure are. As video producers, we know the tricks and secrets to incorporate video to increase your search engine optimization and business success. Visit bizvidcommunications.com to see what we can do for you. BIZVID communications.com.
Too much to do? Not enough time to get it done? Call on the experts at Another 8 Hours for your business support needs. By partnering with Another 8 Hours, we allow you to focus on the more important matters, like being in front of your clients, doing what you do best, rather than being stuck at a desk poring over paperwork, rummaging through emails, returning phone calls, and struggling to get everything done by yourself. Meanwhile, your family and social life are going down the drain. Go to another8hours.com or call 8 more hours. That's 866-734-6877.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.
Can you imagine a world without children? A world where children don't play, or dream, or imagine?
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're working every day to find cures for diseases that strike down children, because we can't imagine a world without children. Can you?
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. To learn how you can help, log on to our website, stjude.org.